Hey, Countdown to the Geekcast is Retro Ray here again. We're back with another artist that we're going to be interviewing. This artist is a friend of mine. I met him years back. If you didn't know, I worked at Heroes and Fantasies for a period of time. I ran their PRs. I did their events. I set up signings for people to come to the store and do signings with artists, all kinds of artists. Chad, we got him before Hardy #1 that came out. They had a bunch of different artists working on that comic, and at that time it was an official that we knew who the actual artist was going to be. It just happened after issue 1. Chad took over. He worked with Jimmy, Amanda, but prior to that, he also worked with Paul Dini. If you don't know who Paul Dini is the guy who created Harley Quinn. Without that gentleman, we would not have Harley, the animated Batman series stories. But anyway, just give a quick shout out to Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch. Without them, we would not be doing comic reviews. This is the place you want to go chill with friends, play D&D, play Warhammer, Pokemon, Magic. Now they do Digimon as well. And of course, come talk to us about comics. If you want something to read, ask us what you want, and we can point you in the right direction. Like I said, Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch here in San Antonio, Texas. Let's not wait no longer. Let's get Chad in the room.
Get me in here.
Chad?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. What about you?
How long has it been? Has it been 2016? How long has it been? 2014? 2014,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah, 2014, yeah.
So it's been 11 years, dude.
It doesn't even seem like that though, dude.
That's so crazy. That's
Let's talk about the wild ride you went on after landing the job of Harley Quinn, working with Jimmy and Amanda. When I talked to Jimmy, he didn't know. He thought it was going to be a short run. He didn't think it was going to last because it was.
That's what they told us.
Yeah,
that's what they told. That's what DC told us.
So, how did it go? I mean, like, okay, seeing characters that you drew come out in Harley Quinn, the TV series, how awesome is that?
Not as awesome as you. I think I got a check for $100.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And you sign that work for hire agreement. You're signing away all your rights. And that's why creator owned is so important. It's so important for you guys to and I think Jimmy probably says this all the time, like pick the artists you like. And if they come out with an independent book, like support the hell out of that independent book. Because that's like Invincible right now, like outside of like the Image founders, Marvel and DC, I think Robert Kirkman's like been the only one that's basically come out and really shown everybody how it needs to be done. Do you remember his manifesto? Do you remember Robert's manifesto where it's like, go cut your teeth on Marvel and DC and then come create really good, creator own stuff?
No,
I think that's great advice. I think that's great advice.
No, it is. I mean, if people don't even know, I mean, he wrote for Ant-Man for a period of time on Marvel before even moving on to, Walking Dead. I mean, if you really research, guys, Kirkman did other stories prior to, going off on his own, and it's a wild ride. A lot of artists. I mean, Jimmy Palmiotti started off as inker, went from that to writer, and working in this industry, it's a learning process, I feel, and from working from the other side, just selling the comics and promoting you guys, Harley Quinn went okay. My love for Harley goes back to the animated series.
Me too.
And what gets me, man, and we never got to talk about this because when you came into the store, it was all it was work, man. We had, when you came in, like you literally had commissions from when you got there till you left. Like you were even doing commissions at the hotel.
Yeah. That has not changed. That is not like that's what I'm doing right here. Look. Here. That's what I'm doing right now. And it's still our girl. So,
wow. Dude.
Playboy Bunny Harley. So yeah, that's what I've been doing all day. So what happened? Well, it's just people don't understand. Okay, so like Marvel and DC, they pay you.
Yeah.
But um, I can make way more money doing commissions for fans.
Yeah.
Like usually a commission only takes you a couple hours, at tops. Whereas like a comic page will take you like 6 hours.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
So yeah, so like if and I think the most commissions I've ever done in one day is like 130 commissions. That's like, yeah. And I've done that for SMZ. Do you know who those guys are? They run out of Las Vegas.
No, I've
Zubair and
heard of
his
them.
crew. Yeah, yeah. So I'll go down there and basically they just lock me in a room and I just like machine gun it out. But yeah, that's still happening. That's still happening. The commissions are nuts, man.
Dude.
So yeah.
I mean, I forgot what was it like. You had like 12 commissions for that week. That I think it was only for one day you were here, right?
Oh my gosh. See, that's I look at that now. That's like that's so easy. But here's the thing though, like, okay, before Harley, I would maybe do like one or two commissions a show. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude.
and like if I did like two commissions, like maybe I'd make my table back, you know. And now it's just like I'm I'm tempted to like at this point to just be like, okay, I'm getting through this batch of commissions and no more. Like,
Dude.
because well, my my house is paid off. I don't really have any debt. My wife works.
Wow.
Um, and here's the thing, dude. It grinds on you. Like I have so many commissions right now. I'm still working on my Black Friday commissions. That's how far back I am.
Dude.
Because yeah, well, so I'm probably doing on average, I would say at least 5 covers a month for Marvel. And that can almost be a full-time job in and of itself. And then I did the interiors for Tales of the Deadly Gunslinger 4 and 5. And I'm hoping to
Nice.
keep that going. And if I do keep that going, I probably will just cut off the commissions at least for like a year. Because, well, I'll give you an example. I hadn't had a day off since November.
Dude.
Like I was two pages, pencils and inks a day, just like crank, 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 because I'd still have like at least one Marvel cover a week, if not two Marvel covers a week.
Well, you
Um,
bring that up. I'm gonna pop one up real quick. More
okay,
recent one that broke the news when they announced that she was coming back, or they were bringing this character back to Marvel, or bringing her back to life. I'm sorry. Let me clarify that. Um, Gwenpool. I mean, when they
Gwenpool.
showed this, they had cut the part half off, so it just showed the top piece, and it says she's back, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, that is so freaking cool. Not knowing till later that this is your cover.
Yeah,
So
my
how was
my
it when they?
signature's hidden right in that patch. If you look at the patch on the shoulder, the guy who's getting his head sliced in two.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you look at his little patch, that's where I hid my signature. So,
So okay, getting to this. When they approached you with this, like
uh-huh.
how long in advance did you know, like, okay, because more majority it's like 4 to 5 months out that they know that they're doing this story arc and that the it's going to be dropping later in the year.
Uh-huh.
When you got the news for this, I mean, Hardy's such an iconic character. This is iconic character. And you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So how was it getting that call to do that cover?
It's so crazy. Like what I don't ever really say no to Marvel, and I don't ever really say no to DC, and I don't ever really say no to Image. Like um. So, and honestly, like they've been sending me so many covers. Like I didn't understand what was happening until they're like, "You need to do a cover for the reprint," and I was like, "Oh, well, that's good." You know what I mean? And then I want to say that uh they sold out of Deadly Tales too, number 4.
Yeah,
So
no, it,
yeah,
it it
yeah,
it has, dude. I mean, when
okay,
I talked to
yeah.
Jimmy, we talked about artists, and he
Mhm.
talked about you and talked about how you hit the deadlines, and that's what he when you find an artist that you gel with, and that artist can hit deadlines, then that person is good to go. Like Marvel and DC love people who hit deadlines.
Yeah.
And when you came down and you were here at Heroes back in the day, you were also still working on interiors.
Pages,
On top of doing commissions, on top of doing the signing,
yeah,
you were
yeah,
doing all three at the same time you were
yeah,
doing the store signing. And technically,
yeah.
was that one of you did store signings prior to this, right? That was your first.
I, I, Heroes and Fantasies was probably my first like mega store, my first big retailer. I'd never
Yeah.
seen a store that big.
So guys, if
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it was
didn't
huge.
know, we had I pulled out all the guns, man. I pulled all my friends together, got all our cosplayers that I knew, and said, "Hey, we're bringing the Harley Quinn artist to San Antonio," and boom, we had Chad pose with all the Harleys and Batman. Dude, we even got you the freaking cake, bro. That was.
Dang, look at all those commissions, man. How many? Go back to that picture real quick.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's
1,
right.
2, 3, 4, 5. See, there's 5 commissions just sitting out right there.
Dude.
So,
And that was one of the things you mentioned. You're like, "Hey, man, if you can make sure at least get 5 commissions."
yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, that's not gonna be a problem." I told you, I was like, "That's not gonna be a problem," but not knowing it was gonna be that crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
dude, that was an awesome day. I mean, when he brought you down, I took you to go eat some good. Was it Thai food? No, it's a Thai food. Or...
No, the first one was like a wing stop or something. We had really good wings and they had like really crazy like cheese fries. And then the next time I came down, we did Chinese food.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then tacos. Yes, we took you to eat tacos too.
Tacos, yes, yeah.
Dude, okay. Right after that, of course, we brought you back for Alamo City, and you did the convention there as well. And then after that, it literally took off. You started literally going around the world. Like,
Yeah.
how was that when you get the calls like, "Hey, man, we want you to come to Dubai"? How was that?
It's dude, it's Dubai is dude, Dubai is like, okay, I grew up in Las Vegas. I was born and raised Las Vegas, Nevada. So I know what it's like for like rich people to basically will a city into existence in the middle of a desert where no city should exist. But the Emiratis like have it on a whole other level. Like when you land in Dubai, like their airport is made out of like marble and gold. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Like the airport is like the fanciest building you've ever been in your life. And then like this last time I went, I just went with PopCon. My friend Rashid, he brought me out and he put me up in a 5-star hotel. And he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm going to put you in a lousy 5-star hotel. I'm not going to put you in the 6-star." I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, oh darn, So yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
So
crazy,
okay.
crazy.
So how is the convention in Dubai? How was it like compared like to the States? Like you wouldn't think there would be that many fans in Dubai as well as in the States for comics and all that.
Well, Dubai has a huge expat community. There's a ton of Europeans. There's a ton of Americans.
Wow.
So it's a very like diverse city. It's a very diverse city.
Wow.
So in that respect, it's a lot like home. Um, I've actually been to other Middle Eastern countries, uh, like Saudi Arabia. Like Saudi Arabia was the only convention where they sent in my itinerary like a list of things that will get you the death penalty. I'm like, oh shoot, man! Like I was freaking out like a little bit. Like I was like going, oh my gosh, dude! Like I'm like,
Wow.
what did I sign up for? But you know what's crazy? Like comic fans are comic fans. They're like, it's the same people, different location, maybe a
Wow.
different language, maybe some different clothings, or you know. But like the more you travel, it's really weird. It's like the more different everything is, but also the more the same everything is. Like we have so much in common. Like people don't understand how much we have in common with almost everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
we almost have a global culture now. Like if there's something popular in the United States, there's a good chance it's popular everywhere. And if there's like a rock band like in Europe or Japan or Korea or wherever, they're popular everywhere too. So so yeah, I've been to like Tokyo. I've been to
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, Tokyo's wild, dude, wild.
Oh man, I can
Yeah,
imagine, dude.
yeah.
So
I could
okay,
I could live in Japan. I like Japan. I think I'd be lonely because I couldn't speak the language. But as far as like advanced technology,
they're ahead.
like their 5G actually works. They have bullet trains that go everywhere, and like even if you don't like, okay, like the bullet train, I think it's like a couple $100. It's cheaper than a plane ticket, and it actually takes the same amount of time because there's not all this crazy boarding. It takes like an hour to board a plane and deboard a plane.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through security and all that crap. Like you buy your speed train ticket in Japan, you just walk in, sit down, and if you get first class, like they'll bring you food. It's crazy. Like this train's like going like at 300 miles an hour, and like this tiny little Japanese. I want to say stewardess, but it's not a stewardess, flight attendant or whatever. But it's on the train. They're pushing that cart, but they're almost like horizontal because there's so many G's. Like they're pushing that
Oh.
cart. Anyway, it's crazy. Like we like to think that like America's like number one in technology. Japan is like shut it down because those guys are
Dude, I heard they
they
could build a bridge like within 48 hours and stuff like that, or rebuild things
yeah
within
they're
days.
yeah they I've never been to a place where um there are so many unspoken rules. Like in Tokyo, there's no litter.
Yeah.
There's
No trash
no there's
cans.
there's no there's no trash cans. Like I'm like, what do you do with the garbage? Like, um, and then I found out why they removed all the trash cans. They had a terrorist attack, and people put bombs full of sarin gas in the subway. And so after
Oh.
that, it's like they hid all the garbage cans. So you have to like go ask a police officer like where to throw away your stuff. Um,
Whoa.
but there's no graffiti in Tokyo. There's no trash in Tokyo. I never heard a siren until I've been there like 4 or 5 times now. And like the
Wow.
last time I was there, I heard a siren, but it was because like an old lady fell. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't they weren't hauling someone away like they're coming to someone, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they have Pokemon on their police cars. Like there's not a lot for the police to do in Tokyo. So
Wow.
um I never felt unsafe there. Um it's nuts. So yeah, Tokyo's like got it going. Japan's got it going on. But they they do not like Americans that much. And I don't blame them. I don't blame matter of fact, right now I don't blame anyone. But
Yeah.
um there are a few times where I'd like step on the train and the train car would empty out. And I'm like, holy shit. Like I was like, dude, that's rude, bro. Like I don't you know what I mean? Like and they don't have like anti-discrimination laws. So you'll go into a restaurant sometimes and they'll just do this is get the hell out, Whitey. That's what this is. And they'll turn you around and you know, I mean, they will literally come and grab you, turn you around, and push you out the door
Wow.
as politely as they can. They'll be like, "Oh, so sorry," or "Sumimasen," or whatever. But
Oh man, I
um,
did not know that,
yeah, oh
dude.
yeah, yeah, and they are no joke. And then they love. It's like a little bit of a sport to rip off the to to, to rip off the tourists.
That I
And
did hear about.
well, and I guess like tourism is starting to become a problem there because so many people are like the word's out, I guess, like how awesome Tokyo is.
Oh
So now
yeah.
everyone's going. And um the last time I went, we stayed in Chiba and we went into a restaurant and the owner of the restaurant said, I have not seen a white person in 30 years.
Oh,
So like the tourists are basic, basically when I went before, like all the foreigners were in like one part of Tokyo, and because Chiba is technically in Tokyo, like Tokyo's so big, there's like 5 states in Tokyo. Like
Oh, dang.
Tokyo's freaking huge, yeah. And so Chiba is technically like like a suburb of Tokyo.
So basically, it could be like
But
Texas kind of. So we've got Austin, Houston, Dallas, all in one
yeah,
area kind of thing. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But they got out saying, then I slapped by an old drunk guy. Just
Well,
like, oh shit, you know.
well, you
I
got to
I
admit
I,
though
acc-
too.
I
We
accidentally bumped into him
uh-huh.
going. They had like this really narrow hall for the bathroom. So I'm coming out of the bathroom. There's like a really narrow hall, and I bumped into him, and sorry. And he just, I was like, oh, but
Well,
anyway, yeah.
well, one, we're not small guys. We're very
I know.
big and we're very big and intimidating. So,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because you
yeah.
got to
Yeah.
admit,
I'm a foot taller than about everybody there. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
that doesn't help us too. And then having the shaved bald head, and
yeah,
we kind of me and you kind of tend to look mean looking unless they know who we are and
yeah.
how we are. Um, so getting back, I never got to talk to you about this. When did you realize I want to be an artist and I want to draw comics? Was that the original intent, or what was the actual start of your career?
Well, I mean, I knew I wanted to be an artist like ever since I saw Star Wars. So
Wow.
I think I saw Star Wars when I was like 4 years old. And then my mom bought this book called The Art of Star Wars, and it showed like all the preliminary work, like
Yeah,
all the paintings and stuff. The Ralph McQuarrie.
McCory.
Thank you. Like all of his preliminary paintings and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, that is so dope.
Yeah,
And then I got into Saturday morning cartoons, and all the Saturday morning cartoons back then, Super Friends. So Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. Basically Justice League. And then you had Spider Man and his amazing friends. And then
yeah.
later on, like you had X-Men. But I think this is so crazy because I just watched J. Scott Campbell tell the exact same story. But we both of us, we went into a comic book store, saw X-Men Annual Number 10, drawn by Arthur Adams, the one where the X babies, where Mojo
Oh
turns
yeah,
the
yeah,
X-Men
yeah.
back into children. Like both of it, like he said, he goes, I picked up this comic book, and he was like, that's what I based like my entire artistic career off of, was like this one book. And for me, like when I picked up that book, I was like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I was probably like 12 years old
Wow.
at that point. So like at 12 years old, it's like, this is what I'm gonna do. And then I just never gave up. Like most people get into comics when they're like 18. Like 16, 18 is like the average age of a comic book artist.
Yeah, that's what I heard back in the day. That's pretty much how it started. Like a lot of well, this of course they don't do it anymore, which I feel they should.
Uh,
Where fans could write into the to like Marvel and stuff like that, and they would publish letters, and which they don't do anymore. And a lot of the youngins would actually do that,
mhm.
and some would actually go to New York and try to get into work into Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Back then you had to live in New York if you wanted to do comics. Because Marvel was on one side of the street, DC was literally on the opposite. Like if you could leave the Marvel building, walk across the street, go up, and you're in the DC building. And
yeah,
they were across the street from each other for probably 50 years.
yeah,
So yeah, if you wanted to work for one of the big two, um, you had to live in New York, and that was true all the way up till like early 2000s. Like whenever high speed internet started to creep around, that's when all of a sudden it could, like, you could basically be anywhere. But I still did everything physically, and I would FedEx overnight the pages. And
yeah. That's
it's
crazy.
just dumb luck I didn't kill myself, like driving down to the FedEx at the airport going 90 mile an hour down Airport Road in Cedar City, Utah. Like if I did that now, like I'd go to jail for reckless driving, but I probably did that for like 5 years, like driving down, dropping that stuff off. And then it
Wow.
just became all like now it's all digital. Like when I get a page done, I just upload it to Herbie. Or DC has something similar with Warner Brothers, but honestly, dude, it's been a hot minute since I've done anything for DC. And I don't know if DC's like, oh, he's working for Marvel, so like just let him. But I'm like, it feels really weird because I worked for DC for like 20 years. And Marvel would always, they would always offer me jobs, but like the jobs always sort of suck. They didn't suck, but they weren't. You could tell they weren't the A list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, they. I think they like. Okay, I'll give you an example. They offered me Deathlock at one time.
Okay.
At
Okay.
the same time, I was doing Zatanna. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
so I get an offer from DC. It's like, do you want to work with Paul Dini on Zatanna, or do you want to go work on Deathlock?
You don't
And
have to ask me on that one.
right, exactly. So and that's just sort of the way it was. It's like DC was always prepared to put me on a better book, pay me a better page rate. But it's really weird. It's like I think the last thing I did for them was Harley Red, Black, and White. And that's
Okay.
probably
Okay.
been at least 2 years, I want to say. So like
Wow.
last year, 2024 was the first year, didn't do a single thing for DC.
Oh, dang. But of course,
Yeah,
also
yeah,
DC's been going through a lot of transitions too.
they have, they have,
They've been going through a lot of stuff. I
they've
mean,
yeah, they've been through the shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. And a lot of my editors at Marvel were my editors at DC. Like
oh wow,
Ricky Purdon. I met Ricky at DC, and now
nice.
he's the talent editor over at Marvel. So yeah, yeah.
Well, and the thing is
Maybe
too
and
is
maybe that's it, but I don't know.
what also helps too is that you meet your deadlines. Your art is phenomenal. One of the things I was going to ask about, of course, Jimmy and Amanda are working on a crossover with Harley and Elvira.
Yeah.
I hope to see a variant cover from you.
Has
Because
that been? Let me do some quick googling and see what's.
so it's a crossover, yeah. So that's coming out, and um, of course, old school man. I was an Elvira fan, grew up
Yeah.
watching her and everything. So, and then my two
You,
favorite girls,
for a red
man.
blooded male, yeah.
Yeah, my two favorite girls, Harley and Elvira. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's coming out later in like July, maybe later in the summer. I think I forgot the actual dates, but yeah, I was like, I gotta see. I mean, to bring the team back together, to have you and I mean, technically you're still working with because you're doing Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger and Jimmy's
Yeah.
writing it, so you're getting to work with Jimmy again. That's freaking cool. I
Yeah.
mean,
For sure. I love working with Jimmy and Amanda. Like at this point, I would drop just about anything to work with Jimmy and Amanda because they're just fun people to work with. They're the story's going to be fun. It's going to be good. It's
yeah.
not going to be um
See that? So okay, Amanda. A long time when I was at Heroes, that was my goal was to get Jimmy and Amanda to come to San Antonio.
mm,
And prior to me leaving, that was my goal I was working on. But I still want to get Jimmy and Amanda down here. I mean, even shoot, if I could get the trio down here, that would be freaking awesome to have you, Amanda, and Jimmy together. I mean, that would be like, the power of three.
we always have a good time. We always have a good time.
Okay,
Yeah, I nothing's been announced yet, so I
okay, okay. Oh no, I nothing's been announced. I just
yeah,
that had been announced that the comic has been announced. I'll just like
yeah,
I hope the team gets back together and works together and that aspect because
yeah.
those two, you guys getting back to the Harley thing when you started this comic and a lot of people didn't think it was going to last because it is Harley Quinn and it was just a crazy comic. It had its own world that was created
Mhm.
and the story was awesome. The little things
Yeah.
that
Oh
you
yeah.
would do, the little Easter eggs you would put the dogs in there. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just perfect. Everything that you did, the change
Yeah.
of clothes between Amanda wanting change clothes, It was just a great comic to read. If you guys never read the original when it first came out, that was awesome. And by the way, I still have the copy, the 3D cover that you gave me.
The lenticular. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, and then right
Nice.
there. And then of
That's
course Comic Capsule gave me these cool new
I love those. I freaking
yes.
love those. Aren't those like the best? Those are the
Yes.
best.
Dude,
Like,
you could hang it up and you don't
yeah,
have to worry and it too perfect. I was like, when
yeah,
they sent me this stuff, I was like,
yeah,
yeah, I know what I'm doing with this.
yeah. No, I want to get like a whole bunch of those and then do, you know, you have the cover on the front and then like the backing board, have it be a piece of artwork on the back.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because there's and don't get me wrong, like I love CGC and I love CBCS and all the, you know, and they'll let you do art, but they won't let you.
Yeah, do the front and back.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like if you just give people their own capsule and let them go wild, like there's all types of stuff you can do.
Oh
So
yeah, dude, this thing is
yeah,
just gorgeous. I mean,
yeah.
um so getting off track here. Squirrel, so with the Hardy thing, you created this whole world, you did an awesome run with it, and now, I mean, with that going on, and then of course the Harley movie, the Suicide Squad movie, and then the Birds of Prey. And I mean, when I saw this picture, I literally like it was like when I saw it, it was like I think like at 12 at night. And I tell my wife and she's laying in bed and I start hitting her. I was like, look, I go Chad's in freaking London with freaking Amanda and Jimmy. And she's like, what? I'm like, he's at the premiere. I was like,
Yeah,
what? Dude,
yeah.
okay. How was it going to that premiere?
It was one of the coolest moments of my life. It was really fun. And they let me bring Joy. So Joy, I think Joy probably took that picture.
Oh, she's the one that
So
took it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So um my wife and I, so when we got married, like we immediately had children. We have four
Okay,
children.
okay.
And that trip to London, I went out a week early before the premiere. And that was like the first time Joy and I had just gone on a trip by ourselves
Oh wow.
since our honeymoon.
How
So
was it? Y'all have fun?
yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, it was 16 years later.
Wow.
It was 60. So we've been married 16 years, hadn't had a moment, just her and I.
Wow.
But
Hey,
no, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
and then not just that. I mean, I got some more photos here. You, Jimmy,
Paul
Amanda,
Dini,
Paul
Grant
Dini,
Morrison.
dude.
Yeah.
That I when I saw that picture,
Yeah.
okay, Paul Dini is my white buffalo, and I would give anything to interview him, to talk to him about, for one, as a writer, to come up with the stuff that he comes up with. I
Uh,
mean, you got to work on Zatanna with him. I mean, that to me, that's like a dream come true, because you got to not just work with the man and work on Zatanna. How was it when you got that job and they said, okay, hey, we got this comic and it's Zatanna, it's being written by Jimmy Paul.
uh,
How was it? Like, what was your first reaction for you?
I was really excited, and then, uh, but I ran in. So I'm trying to think what. Okay, so I think that was like maybe my fourth or fifth assignment from DC.
Wow.
So this is like very very early on in my career, and I wish I would have tried to like if in retrospect, I think I would have really tried to channel like Bruce Timm, because Paul basically writes the comic like he's writing and
Oh,
like he's writing an animation. But the other thing that Paul's used to is everything, and I don't know why this is, but it is. Everything is different when you work in animation. It's different when you work in the movies. It's different when you
yeah.
work in comics. It's different, and everything like you can't do celebrity likenesses. I'm like Warner Brothers owns this right? Yeah, Warner Brothers owns DC, but you can't know.
Yeah.
So what happened with Zatanna is the uh, the Royal Flush Gang were all basically supposed to be the Rat Pack
Yeah.
from Las Vegas. So that was the other thing that was really cool about it. 'Cause I was born and raised in Las Vegas, and that arc was about Zatanna picking up and basically doing a residency in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So so the Royal Flush Gang was basically supposed to be like Sinatra, uh, uh, Sammy Davis Jr. I want to call him Crosetti because that's his real name, but it's Dino.
Yeah. Dean
Dino.
Martin.
Dean Martin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I was best friends with his nephew growing up,
Oh
so
wow.
I know his real name's Crosetti.
Oh
They
damn! I did
never,
not know that.
yeah. But anyway, uh, and then the demon Lord Chance was supposed to be Don Wrinkles. Okay, so I drew that and sent it in DC, and DC Legal like had to come apart. Like there's like, no, you can't do this. So I had to erase almost like every page. I'm trying to do my teacher thing. Are you watching me catch my swears here? Um, I like had to erase every page, and finally, it got to the point like after like sending it in 5 times and getting rejected 5 times, I basically drew
Whoa.
them nothing like the Rat Pack because
Wow.
I was tired of redrawing the page, and I think that really pissed off Paul.
Oh
Like,
damn.
because I didn't know back then because I was so new. I didn't know that
Yeah.
I could like talk to the writer. Do you know what I mean?
Oh damn. So you didn't really
I
communicate.
never talked to Paul. Like
Oh
we talked years later, and
wow.
but yeah, like Paul's like, like when he saw the pages, he was like, "What the is this? Like this is not, this is not my script." So that did not fly well with him, and
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah,
I didn't. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, now of course it's changed so much because
yeah,
I interviewed Erica and she communicates all the time with her artist,
yeah,
and because I mean, artists now, mind you, artists are from everywhere now. They're
yeah,
from Chile. They're from
yeah.
Italy. They're from Mexico. They're from
Romania,
yeah.
Croatia, Philippines, yeah, yeah,
And so she
Brazil,
same scenario. She mentioned that so when you translate when she's writing it doesn't translate the same way
yeah,
in Italian. So she has to give her the kind of like changes of what she means and what
hmm
she's trying to say. But same scenario, if you have that artist that you can communicate back and forth with, and so they know what you're wanting. So as that was a learning experience for you, now with all these years under your belt, do you feel it's a lot smoother and you know the processes and stuff like that?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And the other thing that's cool is like now that I've sort of been out there, like I've okay, so I've worked with Paul Dini, I've worked with Mark Wade, I've worked with Gail Simone.
Dang.
A lot of okay, I got to work with Steve Gerber on like his last issue of Doctor Fate.
Wow.
Uh, right, like because he died before he finished it, and that was the first time I worked with Gail. As Gail did so what happened is he passed away writing the end to Countdown to Mystery, which Doctor
Oh.
Fate storyline. And so what they did is they recruited like 12 artists, and they all finished the story in how they thought Steve might write it. And so I got to work with that was the first time I got to work with Gail,
Dude,
and yeah,
she's like Paul. Like when
yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
writes, I met her in Emerald City and I heard her talking with another fan how when she wrote Batgirl, she researched, the background from the psychologist's standpoint and vice versa. Like everything
Mm-hmm.
she writes, she researches everything that she puts in the paper. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel that really makes a big difference when you're reading it.
Mm-hmm.
That writer has taken the time to really focus on what she's putting together. And then at the same time, when she works with people like you have to bring what she's written to life and put it on
Yeah,
paper. And that to me is really because you kind of have to get in her head to a certain aspect to know what she's trying to interpret. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's, I mean,
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun, and I think as far as like actual like issues working together, uh, gosh, I've probably done 50 issues with, yeah, at least 50 issues with Jimmy and Amanda. So I've worked with them way more than anybody else.
wow.
Um, yeah, but no, it's every time like I get to work with someone who like I'm a fan of, I have like a small geek out session. Like, who was I telling? Oh man, I was telling this story to somebody the other day, and they had a reaction I wasn't expecting. But DC, they would do these things. They would have like these artist retreats. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they still do them. But back in like the glory days, they did them, and they would basically invite all their talent out, and they would rent out the hotel right across the street from the Bob Hope Airport there in Burbank, and we just would go there, and we'd have to do like meetings for like, I don't know, like the first 4 or 5 hours of the day, and then like the rest of the day was just like rubbing elbows with every comic professional like ever. And dude, that was insanely fun.
Dude.
And but that was also crazy. Like, yeah, like I remember like people were saying some wild stuff, and nobody was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And I'm like looking around, like, did everyone just hear that? And nobody's reacting. And like I found out from a lot of people later, they're like, "Yeah, like all those meetings are just complete bullshit." And but really, it's an excuse for all the talent to like get together and talk. Really, that's what
Wow.
it is. So it's like, but like, yeah, just yeah,
So,
marketing is crazy.
so,
I'll
so
say
who
that.
is, so who's the one that you've really, really geeked out over working?
Jim Lee. Jim Lee. So they sat me next to Jim Lee in one of these meetings, and I thought I was gonna vibrate out of my chair. I swear to God, the whole time I'm like, don't embarrass yourself. Like I was literally just like, don't look at him, don't make eye contact, you know. And
Wow.
it's crazy now. Like now we see each other, and it's like, hey Jim, hey Chad, whatever, and but
Wow.
yeah, no, back then, like, dude, I was like, "Wah!" Yeah,
Dude,
that's
that's
probably like the biggest reaction. The biggest reaction was Jim Lee, because here's like the crazy thing. Like I'd worked with Stan, but Stan was almost like this godlike figure. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
like Jim, dude, like as an artist, like I, I really think you could make the case that Jim Lee's probably the best comic book artist of all time. Like maybe there are people who draw better than Jim, but there's nobody that draws better faster than Jim. Period. Nobody. Like I've seen the man do a double wide spray, double page spread in 2 hours, pencils and inks. Like get out of town. Like only
Wow.
Kirby, only Kirby could approach those speeds. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Dude.
So like, I think there's an argument. Well, okay, so Kirby would probably be number one, but Jim Lee is a strong two for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever gonna do. We'll never see a Kirby again, in my opinion. Maybe, but I don't know.
Well,
I
I'm
don't see that
happy that
happening.
we got Jeff and Jim back together and they're doing Hush 2
Yeah,
because that's been a long time coming.
yeah.
Um, and I'm looking forward to that. And well, getting back to your school thing, we got off track again.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
yeah. Oh.
so when you did it, this is what you
Mhm.
wanted to do. So did you attend art school? Like, did you
Yeah,
go from high
I
school
actually
to?
have a master's degree in comic books. I
Wow,
swear, hand to God, I have a master's.
wow,
I'm like one of the two people on the planet, like me and Philip Sevi. Philip Sevi and we're both like a block away from each other in Utah.
oh
Like,
dang,
yeah. Yeah, like he got his from SCAD and I got mine from the Academy of Art University. But we both
Wow.
have masters in story sequential art, which is comics.
Wow. That you
My
see.
my thesis project was Harley. I'm
Oh,
like,
for real?
yeah, I was like, here's Harley Quinn. Give me my freaking degree. You
Oh,
know,
dude, that is freaking
because
awesome.
nobody like people don't understand like you're anytime you're getting an undergraduate degree is the only time you're going to graduate where um you're not being judged. Like when you go and you get a master's or you get a especially a PhD,
Yeah.
like lots of people don't pass their PhD. Like
Yeah, I've
they
heard.
will.
Yeah.
There's either like an extremely rigorous test or like an extremely like hard to get past group of professionals. And for my thesis review, like the only person they had on the panel that had drawn comics was Chris Bond, and he was an adjunct. So he really like they almost brought him in to be like, is this good? Because we don't know. You know what I mean? And here's the crazy thing: like Chris is old school, and like he
Yeah.
was up in my grill, dude. And I'm like, I swear to God, I said this in the thing. I'm like, my comic is the #1 comic in the nation. Give me my fucking MFA. That probably came out of my mouth, but I'm just like, like,
I mean, you ain't lying. It was the
what do
number
you
one
want?
comic.
It was told,
Yeah.
anyway, but
No, I mean, technically, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Harley
But
Quinn
I did.
did.
I was like, give me my master's degree and give it to me now, because I had to go through the shit to get that. People ask me what's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. My MFA was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
The
Hey,
hardest thing. It was nuts.
well,
It
it
was
paid
nuts.
off. I'm going to show a
Mhm.
couple of more pieces that you've done.
Okay,
Um, this one was freaking awesome. The Thanos piece.
dude. I never got a copy of that. I had to buy my own copies,
Are you
and they're all
serious?
and they're all second prints. Yeah, they never sent me
What?
my comps. Yeah, if it sells out, you don't get comps. You only
Well,
get
dude.
comps if it. Yeah,
Well, the thing is, right now the industry's changed so much because now they're like back in the day, if they would order so many, they would ship out to the retailers. And this is, mind you, I'm learning because I was out for that time frame that I was out.
yeah.
I could go back in and say, hey, I'm going to order some more, because it was normally a stock of extra they would have.
Uh,
But now, once it's sold out, it's sold out. Like
they,
there is no way of
e-
getting extras.
everything's print to order, and that's why you're seeing
Yeah.
so many. Um, a lot of second editions, even third or fourth editions, depending on how many comics they print. I've actually seen like some of the second, third editions be worth more
Yeah.
than the first edition simply because they're so rare. But yeah, they don't know. You run out now, you run out. And as someone who's starting to do like creator own stuff, you do not want to have extra stuff hanging around your office. Like you don't, it was one of the first mistakes I made when I first did my creator own thing. Like I think I ordered like 1,000 copies. I still have 900 of them in a storage unit. Just I'm
Oh,
like, what am I doing? Um, but yeah,
dude.
so I learned like day one, you print to order, and that's it. And here's the other thing, that's cool to the people who are collecting it too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're launching it on Kickstarter. Like if you're launching it on Kickstarter, you're probably charging $20 for that book. You better not be overprinting. Like it's just anyway. No.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah.
The industry has changed within the last, I say, 10 years.
Oh, for
It's not
sure.
it's not
Yeah.
where it was before when I was there. I mean, I'm still learning all the new processes, and especially what's going on with Diamond currently.
Dude,
And then the
you want
whole
to talk about that crazy stuff? Dude, that's some
dude,
crazy
that's another
stuff.
that's another thing in itself, man. And but okay, so I'm gonna bring some other photos real quick before we get there. So
Okay.
this one we're talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
this was awesome. I mean, I shared it, you posted it on your page. I took a picture from our new comic wall, sharing your piece. Now, my buddy is a huge, Black Manta fan, and I saw you did this piece. This was freaking
Yeah. Okay, that that was never published. Where'd you grab that from? That was
Oh,
never. I don't think that was ever published.
I found it on the internet.
Because what happened is I did that cover and I turned it in,
Uh-huh.
and then the artist who did okay, so mine was a variant, but then the artist who's doing the trade dress turned his cover in, and it was basically the same cover, and they buried mine. So there's a lot of people that will come up to me and they're like, "This is your cover for Teen Titans." I'm like, "No, it's not. It was solicited as my cover, but they yanked it." I don't
Oh,
think that ever saw the light of day. I
wow.
sold the original. I sold the artwork. I was able to, I made a pretty penny off the
I
originals, but I don't think that ever got printed. I don't think that ever got printed.
wow.
Yeah,
It was gorgeous. I mean, the sharks, I mean, everything in general. I like I said, I was looking for stuff that that showed your art and the differences that you do from the female characters to action scenes. I wanted to show, everything that you do.
yeah.
Um and that was the biggest thing. Like, of course, you doing all this that you've been doing, and of course you do Star Wars. I mean, you're a huge geek, both of
Yeah. Oh
us
yeah. Oh
all
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, and of course we know DC's had the movies, and Kevin Smith has mentioned this before. They have too many divisions. They're not like Marvel where they're united and they all work together.
Hmm.
And I'm a big Superman fan too, and Harley the animated series is doing great. Um, what are your thoughts on the Superman that's dropping when that trailer dropped? For me,
For the
the
movie, are we talking about the movie?
yes,
Um, it's so interesting. We see so many interpretations nowadays
yeah,
where Superman is the bad guy, and this is what's crazy. You got to remember, like when Superman was coming into power, like this is when we had all these like fascist leaders popping up in Europe. And I think what made Superman unique was here's a person with godlike powers, but he's not using them to conquer the world and subjugate everyone underneath him into slavery.
yeah,
Okay. He's actually turning around and he's using these powers to do good.
yeah,
And that's where Superman is fantasy. Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So like, don't get me wrong, it's fun to watch stuff like The Boys and stuff like that, and it's fun to watch Invincible.
yeah,
But honestly, like that shit was played out by history a long time ago. And so I like my Superman. I like my Superman Christopher Reeves. I like my Superman.
yeah.
I thought Henry Cavill did an amazing job.
I
I
agree.
think they made a huge mistake not picking him up.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I, in my opinion, James Gunn has done one really good comic book movie and some okay comic book movies and some shit comic book movies. So I'm as always, I will reserve my judgment until I see it. But what I've seen so far looks really good. Looks really
yeah.
good.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a dog lover, and
Yeah.
they,
Crypto. Yeah.
dude,
That was pretty dope, huh? Yeah.
yeah, that they had me at that, and I was just like, oh, okay, I want to see because we've never. I mean, we've seen portrayals of crypto before in the comics and stuff like that, and then he's getting his own comic as well, a little mini series where he's trying to find Clark. I'm interested in that. I'm gonna pick that up. I'm gonna read that.
Yeah.
Um, are you reading comics currently?
I read art like I follow artists now.
Oh, nice,
I like if I know an artist is doing a book, I'll go pick up that artist work. Um,
nice.
any and I have a huge list. Um, I have a huge list. Matter of fact, my wife has gotten to the point where she doesn't let me go roam a Comic Con. I have to like sit and work. I can't like escape and like go because I spend all the money I'm supposed to be making like buying other artists' artwork. And then there's a few writers who I also follow. Um, but I think the last Marvel series I read was probably Dan Slott's Spider-Man and then Ryan Ottley's Spider-Man. I think those were the last. I've also
Nice.
picked up some of the X-Men when they relaunched the X-Men, Hickman's X-Men. Uh, uh, I have every single issue of Osagi Ojimbo, even back
Oh,
when it was
nice.
like, yeah, it's crazy. I thought I had issue number one signed, and I sent it in to get grading. It was a fourth printing. I was so disappointed. Like I got that book when I was like
Oh,
a kid, had no clue that it was like a fourth printing. I felt so robbed because there's so many times where I could have picked up like a first printing number one. But anyway,
oh
and then
man.
and then I probably spend a ton of money. Like I'll go through like the dollar bins and just I just rebought like a whole bunch of X-Men, like John Byrne X-Men, Jim Lee
Oh,
X-Men, Mark
nice.
Silvestri X-Men, some Arthur Adams.
Yeah, the art is just gorgeous
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the time that it
yeah,
was, and it's sometimes that's the thing too. Like there's some comics I'll buy. I'm not reading them. I'm just buying them for the covers because the covers are
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I
And
I read a lot of webtoons. Do you read webtoons?
no, I haven't
So
heard of.
I have kids, and they like they'll go into a comic book store and they'll buy some comics, but like they'll sit around all day reading comics on their phone from webtoons, like from dawn till dusk. And there's like a billion titles on webtoons. Like,
Oh dang.
have you ever heard of Lore Olympus? Like, it's the number one comic in the world, Lore
N-
Olympus.
No, I never heard of
It
that one.
it has like I want to say like half a billion readers. Like it's literally like it's crazy that we don't hear of it because like if you're like a millennial or you're Gen Z and you're into comics, I guarantee they know what Lore Olympus is. I guarantee
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't put it past. Yeah, when you talk about the older stuff, some of
Yeah.
your kids, their kids' attention span now is different than it was when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
So
And they want it now. They want it
yeah,
now. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they don't want
None
to
of this
wait.
wait 1 month for a book shit. They
Yeah,
want yeah. No. It's
and
nuts, dude. Those webtoon artists are nuts. Like they're cranking out like 8 pages every like 3 days or something like that. Like it's
well, okay. Now that you brought this up, I'm I'm pretty sure it's digital, and that's why they're cranking out the pages that they're cranking out so fast.
yeah.
So, of course, we have artists now, and I don't know. To me, I feel still digital's great. Don't get me wrong;
Mm,
it's faster work, easier to fix mistakes. But from the comic collectors fan and artist fan, when there's no longer because there's some artists who just do straight digital. There's no more
mm.
actual pages like that you
Yeah.
could buy. And to me, I feel that means the older stuff's going to be worth a lot more money because there's no more original arts, that people can buy unless that particular artist will do that particular page. You
See,
know,
I would if you're a young comic book artist, like there's some things you should do digitally, but I make way more selling my art than I
yeah,
do from my page rate. So if you're an artist that's out there just doing everything digital, you're leaving 50% of your paycheck on the
wow,
table by not working traditionally. And here's the other thing. It doesn't matter how you work. You'll like I'm fastest working traditionally. I think my artwork looks better when I work digitally, but one of the things you tend to do is you just add way too much unnecessary detail because like in one of my art books, my friend Gemma, like she did this zoom,
oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
she showed where like I was writing secret messages in the comics, but like you'd have to have a microscope to read that message. Like if she didn't zoom in and basically like let everyone in on the joke, uh, but here's the thing. no one would ever see it because it literally is printed. It's probably 6 dots from an inkjet printer on that
Wow.
page. So I think a lot of digital artists, they add way too much stuff that just doesn't need to be in there. And because I work traditionally, like I can pencil and ink 2 pages a day now, simply because you learn really fast. If you're working traditionally, like you do not have a lot. There's not a lot of detail you can put into it.
Yeah.
There's like a physical cap on the size, and it's a good thing because I mean people don't understand. Like we're already drawing these pages on 11 by 17 paper, and then they're shrinking it down to basically 10 by 7 by 10.
Yeah.
So it's already basically getting shrunk down 50%. Well, if you're on a computer and you're working in 8K resolution, that page is probably 4 times bigger than it needs to be.
Wow.
So, so it could be a double-edged sword. If you're confident, and don't get me wrong, it's a little harder to make revisions on a traditional page, but like, yeah, man, you're missing out on a lot of money by not working traditionally. I would advise everybody to work traditionally, and I would advise everybody to learn how to be like an actual painter and not
Oh,
just a
great.
comic book person. Yeah. Like be like Addy Granoff or be like Alex Ross or be like Art Germ or be like Brian Stillfreeze or be like Alex uh, I'm gonna mess his name up. Anyway, there's all these painters out there that Dave Dorman,
Yeah.
and they're just as quick. They're just as quick traditionally, and it's simply because um, you have to pay way more attention when you're working traditionally. You have to actually focus on what you're doing. With a computer, like people, and I see this with my students all the time. They'll have like a movie on, they'll have their phone out, and then they're drawing on their Wacom. I'm like, dude, you got to put this stuff away and focus on what you're doing. And
Yeah.
when you're working traditionally, you know what it's like. It's like driving a stick on a car. When you drive a stick with a car, like you're doing way more work. Like it's you have to be you can't be fucking with the radio or futzing with the air conditioning. You got to be focused on what you're doing when you're driving stick.
No, you're
And
right.
yeah, and I think digital is a lot like ordering an Uber or even just having an automatic, because you
Or
don't have to
self-driving.
be as focused. But if you're going to work traditionally, man, like you have to be, your head has to be in the game. Uh, and honestly, like really, if you want to have like a long career in comics, you should be able to do 2 pages a day because you never know when some crazy thing's going to happen. You never know when some crazy thing's going to happen.
Well, I was gonna say that's true too, because now let's say, for example, your system crashes.
Right.
I mean, mind you, yeah, we got the cloud, but sometimes let's say your machine or your pad crashes and it wipes out what you have, and there's no way of backing it up.
Yeah.
So that time you spent drawing, you just lost that whole time frame.
Yeah.
And compared to, I've heard this is a story I've heard from people. They'll do the outlines, they'll
Hmm.
scan it, and then they'll go in and do the coloring and changing. So there's I
I
hear
think all
difference.
colors digital.
Yeah.
I think I don't know anyone that's coloring like maybe Alex Sinclair,
Okay. Okay.
unless they're painting it to completion, like the guys I was talking about before.
Yeah. Like
But I think
David Mack.
Alex is the only person I know that will actually like physically ink or physically like he uses
Yeah.
Copics and watercolors, and actually, maybe Brandon Peterson. Man, I don't know what Brandon's been up to. I haven't seen Brandon forever, uh, but yeah. So I think all that's digital. But like my goal with the comics I'm doing, I want to do the pencils and the inks. I want to do the lettering, and I want to do the sound effects. excuse me, because that all drives up the value of the page. If you get a page that has letters on it, it's inherently more valuable than a page that doesn't have letters on it. So even with what I'm doing right now, it will never be worth as much as a Kirby or, these old school guys. Like when you go buy like an old X-Men cover, you get the acetone sheet with the logo on it. You get the Marvel logos on there.
Yeah.
Some of them are just uh paper cement, just glued on. And
Yeah.
but dude, like give me that. Like if I'm gonna buy a cover, give me that all day long. That's what I want. And that's what
Yeah.
the collectors want. Um so yeah, like if you're an artist and you're out there killing it and you're not doing traditional pages, I'm not kidding you. You're leaving at least 50% of the money on the table. You should. and,
Wow.
and here's the thing, this business is already hard enough to make a living.
Yeah.
um and you know what, there's always exceptions. Yannick sells he will print a one-off digital print of all of his pages, and that's it. Like once he prints the pages, I think he's like, this is it, no more. And he has like a little uh like a stamp where he actually stamps the
Oh.
page. So like and nobody but him has the stamp, and that's one of the ways they authenticate. So there are exceptions to that rule, but I think he's the only person I know that can sell his digitals for like the same price as his originals. Um, Everybody else though it's all electronic dust. Like if a nuclear bomb went off right now and wiped out all of our computers, there'd be a lot of people where they wouldn't even. There's no proof of their existence as far as being like a comic book artist, because the pages aren't there, the physical pages aren't there.
Yep. And that's the thing where people trying to get people to understand is that, don't get me wrong, it's great. Like even CDs at one point was like the future, and I feel everybody vinyl was coming back like way strong,
Yeah,
and because the sound's different, and
it does. Yeah,
and that's the same thing with these comic books, and you want that original. And then now with the industry the way it is, where it's print to order, and that's the thing is some of these people, like, they'll be like, oh, I missed out on number one. You should have pre-ordered it, because if you don't pre-order it, every
yeah,
store is only ordering so many,
yeah,
and once it's sold out, there's no more. And if you're lucky that it goes into second printing or third printing or even fourth printing, it's because the demand is there. But if it
yeah,
isn't, you're not going to get another printing of issue number one, and you're going to have to wait till the trade paperback comes out in order to get it.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And even the trade paperbacks are almost, I think, are being print order. They're not like they used to be where they have excess.
Um, well, yeah, they everything everything is always in a constant state of change.
Yeah.
Like we were on the brink of like physical bookstores actually disappearing completely, and then somehow like Barnes and Noble pulled it off. It's like, okay, we're gonna do like a library, coffee shop, and a store where people can come in and where it's almost like Barnes and Noble. Basically, they've built communities around their customers, and so like when the
Yeah.
customers come, it's more of an experience type of deal. Like there's people that'll go to Barnes and Noble and they'll spend an entire weekend at Barnes and Noble. Just uh but yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, and I get like I get the other thing too. Like my kids don't own anything. They own their phones. My kids have phones, they have a car, and they have clothes, and that's it. They don't like, dude, like if I'm moving, like look at all this shit behind me here. You know what I'm saying? Like like you're gonna need at least two U-Hauls. You know, just my Warhammer stuff won't fit in my truck. Like that's but my kids, they can pack everything up in their little Prius or Golf or whatever they're driving nowadays. My daughter's driving a Subaru, but anyway, and they
so
still got the trunk and the back seat.
so I did
So
notice that you're doing Warhammer now. When did that start?
Dude, I've done Warhammer my entire life.
Oh wow.
I'm one of these OG guys that like I just recently I had like the entire run of White Dwarf. I had the
Oh,
entire run. And I'm like, I gotta get rid of this. It was taking up like an entire wall in my garage. And I was like, I gotta get rid of this. So I just took it to the DI. I don't know, which is like Goodwill. That's like Goodwill here, like a thrift store, whatever. But
dude, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I've been since first edition, Rogue
Wow.
Trader. Yeah,
Well, our
yeah.
store focuses on Warhammer. They do 40K. They do the new thing as
Kill
well.
Team,
Kill Team, yeah,
Kill Team's
and
big.
yeah. So I mean, they're big into the Warhammer stuff. We have the land where people can borrow the terrain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. No, dude. Th- that's my like. I get to paint like maybe twice a year, but if I ever got to like actually ever have weekends off, I would definitely just spend Saturday and Sunday doing nothing but painting Warhammer.
So
And I
that
think if I did that till the day I die, I still wouldn't be able to paint all my miniatures. I swear to God, like I could swivel this camera to my closet, and it's literally it looks like I have I have more miniatures than most stores. You know what I'm saying? Just like right there in my
yeah.
closet. So yeah,
Wow. Hey, that's cool. We all have our. I mean, Funko. I tried staying away, but
yeah,
dude, they started doing stuff that like the Blue Beetle,
yeah,
Spidey Gwen, of course my
yeah,
Supergirl. I got
yeah,
Kevin Smith, and of course I had to, dude. I mean, we talk about Christopher Reeves.
yeah,
I had to get the Lois Lane, and I mean that. So I was like, damn it, dude. They're just they
yeah,
keep pulling you in, man. And it's like, and I think it's like almost every convention they're bringing new stuff out, and it's like, dude, I don't have no
yeah,
more room for this stuff.
yeah. So
But
funny. Like that was a benefit of going to the DC parties. They would give you like exclusive toys, and
what?
like I would turn around. Yeah, like I got like a Conan O'Brien. Like maybe that was the Marvel party. Was he in an Iron Man suit? Anyway, I got like the only people that got this were like the people that went to this San Diego party. And I swear to God, like I got home that night, turned around, flipped that thing on eBay so fast, like paid for my plane
Wow,
tickets, man.
dude,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I got to go to like the parties, like you said,
Yeah.
at San Diego. I mean, and that's the thing. You've been to San Diego, New York. I mean, it's crazy how the industry it's still going strong. Um, and artists like you are what are driving this industry. For the collectors, the new people, and talking to Jimmy. Having when a writer finds a good artist, he likes it when that they would stay together more, because
Yeah.
when you get somebody new on, then you have to start over again. But when you have that connection with an artist, it's always good. But sometimes because of demand on issues, you kind of have to change it up. But he mentioned about that. When he has an artist he likes working with, it's good to they can stay together
Yeah.
because you can accomplish more a lot faster. And I feel this, same way. I mean, I feel if the art doesn't match the cover,
Dude.
it's
Or if the cover's not a narrative, like I, I don't want to diss anybody, but I'm so sick of the pinup covers. You know, like let the covers be a narrative cover, please, please. It's so much better.
yeah, it
But
make make it varied.
it's just not the world we live in though. Like I mean, I know what it's like. Like half the time I'm doing these covers, I don't even have a script. I don't even have a script, man.
Well,
I'm
John
I'm
Boy,
literally going off of the whatever my editor's given me.
yeah,
So
John Boy said the same thing with the Manhunter, Martian Manhunter.
yeah,
He didn't even know what it was about, and he had to do a cover,
yeah,
and he just did a piece like that.
yeah. They used to call it doing an inventory cover. Basically, your covers have to be able to be pulled out of almost like a library of covers, and they have to like work with anything that character is going to be in. So that so they're sort of generic. So they're the antithesis of the old Kirby cover, which basically gave you a preview of what the issue was going to be, and that's how
Yeah.
comics were growing up. But I think the only place you see that now is creator owned. The only place.
No, yeah. I mean, you and Jimmy, you worked on the Kickstarter with Jimmy on his,
Yeah.
and you did some covers as well.
Yes. That's what I've gotten a lot of work just from that one book. Dude, are you
Oh,
having a
damn.
tornado? What the hell's going on?
It's a
That's
stupid. Yeah, it's let me see. It's a weather warning. Yeah, I've
dude.
told
I
you, dude.
just
It's
watched that.
Texas.
I just heard that. I just watched that tornado thing on Netflix. The one that wiped out Joplin. Dude,
Yeah,
you better
yeah.
like check that thing, man. Like that's no
Well,
joke.
luckily here we don't. Well, we get sometimes with the strong wind, but we've never really got anything in San Antonio.
Okay.
But if we were in Dallas and Midland, it'd be a different story. That they get hit like bad. I
Huh.
mean, we get hail. Like earlier, we got some hail and some rain, but nothing crazy. Not yet, at least. I'm not gonna wood. But it's just some crazy stuff with the weather here in San Antonio. Just like you were saying, we're technically going fall, spring, and it's snowing where you're at right now.
Yeah, it was beautiful this morning. Like I got up this morning, went to the gym, did my walked my dog, been outside, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then I told you my parents moved in next door, so Joy and I
Oh,
could
dang.
take care of them. And so like every night we go over, we take them dinner. We cook
Oh,
dinner,
nice.
and we take them dinner, and go we go over. It's like snowing on our dinner that we're taking. I'm like. I was like, dude, it was beautiful all day long. And like, I swear, and it's dark. Like it, it's like, it's supposed to be like bright and sunny. It's like pitch black because the clouds are so thick. Dude, as growing up in Las Vegas, I hate snow. And every time it snows here, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why didn't I, you know, take me
You
back to Vegas or Phoenix or someplace where it never snows, because that's how I roll, buddy. Like I don't
well,
ever need to
technically,
see
it
snow.
does snow in Vegas. It snowed what, like the
Once
last couple of
every like
weeks.
4 years, maybe. And it's like three flakes. Like I swear to you, I lived there for 20 years. I went sledding twice, and it was like a 1 day thing. There was enough snow on the ground that you could get on a sled. So 2 days, my entire life growing up, there was enough snow to sled on in Vegas. Other
Wow,
than that, it's only there for maybe a couple of hours and then it's gone. So yeah.
dang, that's crazy. So okay, so what current projects do you have going on that you can talk about?
That I can talk about.
Yes.
I'm finishing the cover to Glen. I did see, so I was checking to see what was out, and uh I went to Midtown, because Mid Midtown orders all my books. Like I know, like
Wow.
so I always check out Midtown, and they just right now the pre-orders for Gwenpool Volume 2 are out there. So I'm also doing all the Space Quest and Captain Planet for Dynamite.
Yes, I did see that just drop
Yeah,
recently.
yeah,
Okay,
those were a
Captain Planet.
lot of fun. Those were a lot of fun.
So did you watch it as a kid?
Oh yeah, dude. I
So how
still
was it?
watch Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest is not a children's television show. Like dude, have you watched Johnny Quest? Like people are getting straight up shot in the head on Johnny Quest, like left and right. It is more violent than a Bond film. So yeah,
No, no, Dynamite's killing it with Johnny Quest, Space Ghost. I mean, Captain Planet, of course, I'm going to pick up. Dude, Thundercats and Silverhawks.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I am loving those
Oh,
story
okay.
arcs.
I did the Transformers with
Oh yeah,
Skybound. So I got like an Optimus cover. I got a Megatron cover. Um, you know what? Shoot, has that
dude,
been solicited?
dude,
Anyway,
Kirkman is killing it
yeah.
when he bought that rights for Transformers, and then
And GI
Johnson.
Joe, and GI Joe, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're giving us. to me, I feel it's Walking Dead / Transformers,
Yeah.
because he's making you care about these characters, and if you didn't know about these characters, he's making you want to know about them. At the same time, what happens as well is not craziness, dude. Like, okay, when I read the first issue, and then I see what. Okay, spoiler, guys. If you haven't read the issue, too bad. It's coming out. You see freaking an F-6. You see like Starscream looking jets, two of them, chasing each other, right? So you don't think nothing of it. You just think, okay, it's a dogfight, and then all of a sudden, the one in front just transforms, and then you see the other jet fighter, like the guys eject, and you just see freaking Starscream just smash one of them together like that with his hands. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And then the guy who's freaking in the parachute is freaking Duke. I was like, oh,
Oh.
dude, mind blown. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you
Yeah.
got me. You sold
Well,
me.
that was like the Larry back in the day, dude. Like GI Joe, Larry Hannah's GI Joe.
Yeah.
Did you read that Marvel run? Like, it was no joke. Like if you're a kid like me, like you're used to watching the cartoon, never have so many lasers been fired and like zero casualties. Dude, like in the comic book,
Yeah.
people are getting dropped left and right. And I'm talking about like major characters, man. So you were reading the comic book like if you're a GI Joe fan, you weren't a real GI Joe fan unless you're reading that book, because
Oh
like
yeah.
that was GI Joe for grown-ups right there. So yeah, Skybound's doing, taking a page out of Larry's playbook and
Yeah.
making it serious. Thank God, because you're not going to get that from the movies.
Yeah, like even Thundercats. I
Ugh.
mean, the Thundercats and Silverhawks are going to cross over together. They're going to be one universe.
Well, and they actually were the same because they were both developed by Rankin Bass, the animation. So
Yeah.
they technically are in the same universe. Yeah, yeah.
So, and then the story that they're doing is great. Declan is killing it, with Thundercats, and then Ed Bronson is killing it with Silverhawks. We're getting backstories. I mean, those are the ones I'm really picking up. I'm picking up the mini series as well. Certain ones like Laura Kenny, the
Hmm.
Daredevil run, Deadly Tales of a Gunslinger. I love what Jimmy's doing with that run, where
Yeah.
we're getting to see, and he's not cutting back.
No,
Like he's not holding
no.
back on the headshots. I mean, dude, like
Dude, did you read issue 4, dude?
no, I
Like,
haven't had a chance yet, but I was
oh
just
my
like,
gosh,
I
dude.
heard, and that's the thing is like the first couple issues when I first started reading it, I was like, dude, like I just, but see, that's what we want. We want that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
No, dude, it's over the top. So spoiler
Spoiler,
alert.
tell me, yeah.
Uh, this one guy gets his head shot off in issue 4, and he's basically still alive while they're burying his head. And like 2 pages
Oh,
later, like it's brutal, dude. Like, yeah, it's like the Kill Bill like level of violence, man. Like people are getting tore up in this book. So,
yeah,
but
it's good stuff,
Jimmy
dude.
Jimmy always manages to write. Like, I swear to God, like Jimmy and Amanda both have this ability to make you laugh at an inappropriate moment. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No,
Like
yes, because
so, like somebody's dying and you should be appalled, but somehow it makes you chuckle. Like, I
yes,
don't
I
know.
know exactly what you're saying. I
Yeah.
mean, they did it in Harley. I mean, they had the
Oh,
little,
totally,
you know,
totally.
it was there, the little jokes, the little things of everything, and the two of them are a great team together, and seeing them, that they what they do together. I mean, it's freaking great, dude. Like Jimmy, and then I also too. I'm looking forward to this one too, because you worked with Joe Casada as well, and he's coming back.
Did I work with Joe? What did I don't remember working with Joe. Like,
I don't
when
know.
you say work with Joe, like he was my editor in chief, but like as
Yes,
far as
that's
like
what I meant.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like it's so weird to me it's so rare that there's an editor who's an artist. That is so rare.
Yeah.
But as an artist, like I can never do that job. I would slit my wrists and do push-ups before I would ever take specific, like, it's not like he was Mark Chiarello. Like Mark Chiarello was basically a in charge of all the artists at DC for decades. And at least he still got to do art stuff. Whereas like Joe, like they kept Joe so busy, like his entire tenure as like editor in chief, he was not dropping like almost in, like I know he would do a cover now and then, but like he dropped off the face of the planet. And so yeah, to see all this work coming out now, it's like, no, I love it. Like I trust me, like there are so many good artists out there right now where it's just like when I go to a convention and Brian Stillfreeze is there, I spend more time behind Brian Stillfreeze just watching him paint than any human should. And I've done the same thing with Adam Hughes. I've done the same thing
Oh,
with,
dude.
like, I will literally just, it get like, I know I creeped Adam out one time because he turned around and he's like, can I help you? Like, I was like, no, dude, I'm just watching you draw. And then, like, I'm sure he figured out the last time I saw him, he introduced me to Allison, so he knows who I am now, which is cool. But but yeah, well, I did the same thing with Arthur Adams. I completely freaked out Arthur Adams, like appropriately so. I probably stalked Arthur Adams. I like they didn't have stocking lots, but yeah, I mean, um, I was one of those dorks that would show up to every Comic Con with like 100 things for Adam to sign. And he's just like, get this kid the fuck out. Like he's just like,
Oh, that's too
get this
funny,
kid
dude.
out of here. Yeah. And now it's funny. We sat next to each other at a show, and he's like, "Do I know you?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah." I was that annoying kid, like, he's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." He goes, it like like seeing it dawn on him where he's like, "Oh shit, it's that kid." But we're cool now, so because
That's
you
priceless, bro.
find out what it's like. You find out what it's like to not have people leave you alone, and that, like, I heard someone like come down really hard on some of these creators, and I'm like, listen, you don't know what it's like to like, because there's people, there are, first of all, there's two types of people when you go to a show. There are fans who every creator should love and cherish, and then there's people who are out there that are like, how can I exploit this person? It's a real thing.
No, no, it definitely is.
Yeah.
So, in perfect example, I love your art and I get
Uh,
commissions, but I knew you had a long commission list. And to me, customers come first, and it's always been like
yeah.
that. Even when I worked at Heroes, I always it's like, you know what, if I have the opportunity, I'll get it. I'll get it. And I have all my favorite artists, I have a piece, like a little headpiece or something. I to this day I haven't had my opportunity to get a piece from you
Oh.
yet. A little on a
Well, you
sketch
might need to
cover.
get something better than
Because
a sketch cover, dude. Like,
well, the thing was is like the way I see it is, we're bringing you to do a job, and that's the
yeah,
thing. You don't want to exploit the person.
yeah.
So I'm like, if it opportunity opens, I'll do it. But I never got a piece from you, and it's been like you said years. But it's on my bucket list because as you can tell, I have all my Hardy
Yeah,
pieces of my favorite pieces that
yeah.
I have,
Framed up
and
nice,
my
man.
sketch
Your
covers.
your office looks nice. My office looks like a dump, like a miniature dump.
Dude, this is just like, I have pieces, dude. Okay, look, check this out. I have pieces I haven't even hung up yet, dude. I don't have enough room anymore. I have this I still have to put
That's
up,
when
and
did that come out?
this was a Mondo piece that came out like about I think almost
Oh,
10 years
okay,
ago.
that's
It's
crazy.
Alamo Draft
Okay,
House. They would do screen
yeah,
prints. Um, but I love Harley
yeah.
so much, and I have to juggle my stuff. But yeah, I have a couple of sketch pieces, and now with this beautiful piece here, I can actually display it and hang it on the
Yeah.
wall. So you know what I mean? But yeah, no, dude, it's crazy because you when I was seeing you do the stuff at Heroes and I was just sitting there watching you, you're actually doing it while you're talking to people.
But that, dude,
And at this
that is like, there was a time where I had to have like absolute silence. Like if anybody bothered me, I'd just be like, like, and now it's just like, I swear to you, like I've drawn pages with like kids sitting in my lap. You know what I mean? Like, because you have like I've drawn pages on planes.
oh,
Like my plane would land and I would like take a picture of my page and I would go into Photoshop Express on my phone and send the page off. Like I can't tell you how many
wow.
times I finished pages in the living room. Like MegaCon and Toronto, I didn't even open my commission list. Like I still took commissions, but I explained to everyone, I'm like, guys, I have a deadline. I cannot be taking commissions. You can drop them off if I can mail them to you. And so right now I don't have I don't have a book. I don't have interiors right now. So I'm just cranking these commissions, but like I've been working on commissions all day. I haven't even got to my Black Friday commissions yet.
See, but
You
that
know,
tells you how the true fans
yeah.
are, that they're willing to give you your money, give you their money, and wait for your piece to come
And
back to
and,
them.
and I
That's
and I
how,
do try and keep everyone updated. Like I've emailed people and I'm
yeah.
like, hey, you're number 16 on the list. You're number 22 on the list, you know. Um, but yeah, I gotta get some of these dude, I gotta get some of this stuff done, bro. Especially before San Diego.
uh, yeah, San Diego's, dude. San Diego's gonna be. I think it's gonna be crazy this year, just because of a lot of new titles, and of course, and that's the one thing about San Diego. That's when they're always going to drop what's going to be new in the comic world as well, um, and it's going to be interesting because with Marvel, their announcements like right now, the whole Venom, the new Venom, um, just so many titles that are dropping, and I'm like, and that's one thing I'm trying to do as well is to keep people informed because there's sometimes people don't have the time to know what other issues
Yeah.
coming out or what covers these customers have. So guys, before we get done, you got to come by Dragon's Den Alamo Ranch and pick up your copy of Gwenpool that Chad did the cover for. And then you said you did issue 2 as well, right? The cover.
So yeah, issue 2's out. I don't see the reprint cover for issue 1, but yeah, I could pull up issue 2 on my screen here because I'll just pull it straight off of Midtown. Maybe they're gonna let me do it. Then those jerky jerks, they're not gonna let me do it. Hold on.
But yeah, come
Yeah,
by Dragon's there, pick up your copy.
yeah. I should be hopefully doing
And
the whole series. I should have cover
oh,
A on the whole
nice.
series. Hopefully, so long as I don't screw it up, and I'm not trying to screw
Well,
it.
the last time I had you were doing your so are you still doing your online when you're drawing and videoing?
So I would like to. If I don't immediately get another assignment, I will start streaming again because I will go back to work on my creator owned stuff. But that's really the only stuff I'm allowed to show. Like I would
Yeah.
love to like call Todd up and be like, Todd, can I draw these spawn pages on while I stream? I don't think Todd would care. Marvel,
It's free
Marvel and
advertisement.
DC, don't even ask. And here's the
Yeah.
crazy thing. For some reason, I get caught when I do it. Like I swear, like I have so many artists like, dude, they're never gonna catch you. They're never gonna catch you. I swear to God, the second I've been told by so many people, like, dude, I've been drawing this issue all the time. They don't care. They don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have like befriended Jim Lee on my Twitch stream because like when I do DC stuff, that I usually get a call from DC Legal, and they're very polite, but they very politely tell me like, hey, knock it off. And once you have a lawyer call you, you don't want the lawyer to call back, especially like not on the same topic. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, the second I get my goal is to have issue 2 of Death Watch done pretty quick here.
Nice.
But I'm really playing with the idea of getting 5 issues done and then running the Kickstarters to see if there's
Okay.
enough interest just with the arc. Like, you learn one of the things I learned about indie comics: never solicit your indie comic book unless you have a trade papers back worth of material. They because
Oh,
no one's going to be able to tell in one issue whether or not you have something or not. Um,
true.
so I made the mistake of kickstarting, Death Watch #1, and then turning around and basically accepting with creator owned books, especially. Here's my other bit of advice. You know what I should do, Ray? I should write a book. All the shit I wish I knew before.
There
You know
you
what I'm
go.
saying? And I can say, like, from tenured professor Chad Hardin, because I'm an actual professor. Um, you know, uh, I really should, because what happens is it takes me about 10 issues of like Marvel DC image page rates before I can save up enough issue to do one Kickstarter of my own stuff. And here's the thing,
Yeah.
like, you want to sort of rapid fire, like the people who rapid fire their Kickstarters, where they're doing a Kickstarter at least every quarter. Like, they have this momentum, this really nice momentum that's going, and they get people hooked. But dude, if you're like launching one book a year, no one's going to remember that shit. So you really should have at least
Yeah.
an entire graphic novel. So there's a part of me that's like, well, I've already got issue #1 out, get issue #2 out. There's another part of me is like, just finish the entire arc and get everything done, and then see where it goes. you know but
I mean that sounds about a good idea
yeah,
because whoever jumped on the Kickstarter and got the first issue, well, that's a collector's
yeah,
item now
yeah,
because there is no additional
yep.
issues that you're going to be able to get. It's just going to be a graphic
And
novel
I'm not
form.
reprinting
So for the
any of those.
collector,
Yes. So
so yeah, collector wise, that's kind of a sought after issue now because if there is no 1, 2, and 3, that's one of a kind. And then now you'll have that first set of
mhm.
run. Now, if you want the individual issues after
you,
that,
you
now that's
yeah,
when,
you better go. And like I said, maybe I'll do a second printing, but uh, who I'll talk to first is Jimmy. Like, Jimmy has the experience, and um
oh yeah, too. I mean,
yeah,
he's been around. He's got that knowledge and stuff, and that's the best part when you surround yourself with people like Jimmy and you know, like you like you said, do a book. I mean, if you would have known what you know now, you would have ran a little bit
hmm
smoother. And like if I would have known a lot of stuff that I know now too as well, like when we were going to do this podcast that I was going to do a long time ago, which we had an interview with
yeah,
you at San Diego Comic-Con and then I had an interview with Jimmy at that time frame talking about Starfire. All that went down the drain. If I would have known the process that I should have known, which I
yeah.
didn't,
Do you
I
do
kind
yeah?
of
Just
regret
do
it. But
your own. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
and so now, that's why, with Lucky with Countdown, I'm able to um do this, you know what I mean? And talk to people like you and get to know the story behind the work and just like you said, learning as you're going and telling people who are wanting to learn about the industry know what to do
yeah.
next if they want to get into artists.
Or
You're
just
helping.
just like, I almost want, so many of my students, they want to be artists, but they don't even know, like, how or where they can make money being an
Yeah.
artist. And I want to just say, like, okay, you can make money being a comic book artist, but here's the entire devil's contract. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, here's all this shit they're not going
Yeah.
to tell you. You know what I mean? Because I swear to God, like, the first convention I showed up to, I didn't even have a pad of paper, like, to draw commissions. I didn't have a print. I didn't even bring my portfolio. I just showed up. And they put me at a table. I'm just like sitting there next to Jason Metcalf. Like, Jason has like this, if you've ever seen Jason's table, it's like got all this, stuff on it. And I'm like going, I'm just sitting there without even a tablecloth, dude. And, so yeah, I think there's a million lessons to learn there. And a million spoken and unspoken rules,
Hey, if you ever want someone to come talk comics with about that, and hey, I'm down. I'd love chit chatting with you. We haven't chat in a
we
long
haven't.
time.
It's been way
And
too long.
and well, I don't want to bug you, man. I have your
Bug
number,
me.
and I'm like, I know he's a busy man. I don't want to. I'm that person. Like, I have these people's numbers, and I'm like, sometimes you're like, I want to talk to them, but I don't want to bother them. I don't know what they're doing. But at the same time, it's like, because there's some people, like you said, that take advantage of these people. I'm not that person.
But you were
enjoy the
never
chit
that
chatting.
person. You're never going to be that person.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Just for me, I just feel that like, I don't want to be that person, like bugging, and so But at the same time, I see every time you're posting and everything, and that's why I'm like, okay, cool. I'm seeing what he's doing. All that. But yeah, no, man. If you ever want to chat and talk about stuff, I'm down.
Okay.
Just hit me up.
Well, I'll tell you
come
what.
on your channel.
The next time I hear any big news, I'll let you know, and maybe we'll do it again.
Oh yeah. Even that,
Yeah.
or your Kickstarter, or when you have that, you can drop about stuff that you are working on that you can talk about. Hey, I'm here, bro. Give me the news. That's what I'm here for. To give
I
these
need to go. I need to go back to Texas. Dude, I haven't been to Texas since like.
Well, I think you went to Dallas. What was it? A couple of months ago? No, 6 months.
No, dude, I don't think I've been to Dallas in 2 years. That's probably.
Oh wow.
This is the long. Like normally, like half my shows are in Texas. Like, dude, Texas is so freaking big, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sir, I'm like Mustafa's like, I don't need to leave Texas, and I could do a show every weekend of the year. Like, that's how many shows are in
No, it's
Texas.
true. Yeah.
But dude, I think COVID just threw everybody off their groove. I think I've been back one time since COVID, but maybe we still had to wear masks in Texas. Like, am I hallucinating? But like, because I can't imagine wearing a mask in Texas. But I want to say we might have had to wear masks. Like we might have been in like the full blown lockdown crazy stage or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's been too long. It's been too long. I need to go back.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Dragon's Lair has started bringing guests. We have an announcement coming soon of a guest for Free Comic Book Day, and it's a writer. That's all I can tell you. Just stay tuned, guys. You'll find out. And I want to bring artists, and as long as it's something that the store can provide and cover, they're down to bringing artists to the store. So you'll be on my list of bringing down to
get
San
some more
Antonio
hot
again,
wings
sir.
and some brisket. I haven't had any Texas
definitely.
barbecue in way too long. Been eating Utah barbecue. That don't even count, man.
So before we go, do you have any things you want to plug before we chill out?
No, just I'm just okay. I forgot to mention the Transformer comics are exclusive to Unknown Comics. So if you want the Transformer stuff, make sure you hit unknowncomics.com. Talk to Darren or Chris. They'll hook you up with those. I got Johnny Quest, Space Quest, and Captain Planet covers coming out from Dynamite. I have Gwenpool and a whole bunch of other covers coming out from Marvel that I can't talk about yet because some of those covers are way in advance. Like I just finished a very special 4th of July cover that I cannot wait for it to drop. It's going to be hopefully it's going to be big. Anyway, and then I'm going to try and do as many of Tales of the Gunslinger. We'll see how that goes. No promises. Sweet. But no matter what, you'll see hopefully Death Watch #2 come out here in a couple of months here. So that's my next big thing. that I want to do for
And
me. Yeah.
guys, you know, you follow Dragons of Alamo Ranch on Facebook, Instagram. I will post once we got covers that Chad, of course, you know, they show us on previews. I will show them and show that you're available to pre-order so that you don't miss out on the covers that he is working on. I will post them. Again, guys, thanks again for taking the time to listen to us talk about comics and the industry. And this may not be the last time we have chat on. We may chit chat again
Should
later.
be.
But
Maybe I'll
all
clean
right,
my
guys.
office next time. Nah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you don't have
It's
artwork in the
all
back.
over here. Like this is, I look in this direction and I don't look in this direction. So like I got like a world atlas right here. I got my Lord of the Rings stuff here. I got, you know, got
Oh,
my family
nice.
here. So yeah, it's just flip. This is all Warhammer. Like behind me is all just oh my god, way too much. I have a problem. I'm
Dude,
addicted to Warhammer.
you would love our store because we have so many people who play Warhammer there, and they come in, buy the stuff to paint and all that stuff. I think just alone from that, you probably have fun just with the Warhammer stuff that we have there. But yeah, that's another story in itself. Guys, go like and follow me at Countdown City Geeks, and also go like. We'll put the links for Chad's Instagram as
Hardin
well
_art
and
on
Facebook.
Insta.
There you go. All right, guys.
See you
Peace.
guys. Thank you.